Medication's a really interesting one, and I was brought up, to be honest, not having any medication for anything. So my mum was homeopath, and so from an alternative perspective, and even like paracetamol, like I was always kind of taught around the idea of like, focus on the prevention, not just curing. If you've got a headache, take a pill to cure it. Like what started the headache, or what can you do? And kind of just, I guess, holistically, I just thought, your body naturally wants to heal, and kind of, yeah. So I'm definitely not a pill popper, as it were. And I was concerned about, I guess, putting a drug into my body and the impact and what that was. And so they started off with 3 medication, one called Apixaban, which is a blood thinner. So imagine the heart, if the blood's slightly thinner, then the heart can pump the blood around the body more easily. So that was important. And then the other one called Furosemide. And Furosemide basically removes more liquid from your body. So it basically forces you to go to the toilet so that the water doesn't build up. Because one of the significant conditions or symptoms of the condition is water can start to build up. And pre-transplant, you can have like stones of water in your body. And I've seen it in my feet, and I'll share photos and later on in the journey where the water was filling up in my body, and you could see my feet maybe, a centimetre bigger than they should be. And you can see it because the water is like retained in the body. So that's furosemide. And I always say it wrong, Eplerenone is also another diuretic, which makes you basically go to the toilet. And I remember at the time, there's things like drinking dandelion tea can also make you do the same thing. So there's like various natural diuretics. I remember this conversation with my doctor being like, so can we like do other things? And I think they were quite like, look, take the medication, you'll be okay. And there is a, I guess the Western medication, that's what they do. And it's very much, to date, I know there's talk in the future about their medication that can help improve the condition, but ultimately it's all about managing the symptoms, and they're not doing anything to fix anything or to improve anything. And so it very much is those kind of three drugs right from the offset. And I remember my relationship to it was, I'm going to say, quite challenged, because one, going from not taking anything to then being like, okay, you're dependent on these things, you have to take them. Going also on furosemide, it's like there's moments, right? If I take the pill at the wrong time, I need to go to the toilet. And like wherever I am, I've had to stop a car at the side of the road and go to the toilet, because I joke with my partner saying it's a medical wee. It's like, it's not a normal one, it's a medical one that like, there's no control in this, I have to go now. Especially if you're going to bed, then going up. And I know older people talk about this all the time, that it's a thing that they just have to do, is in the night go to the toilet. But I feel like that's been brought forward a few years for me, and pretty much I like it, especially in the beginning. And if I take it too late in the day, then I know I'm going to be up. And so it's all just kind of monitoring also this balance, how much I'm drinking. And people go, you should drink two litres a day or whatever. And my doctor's very much, you drink when you're thirsty, and you've got to take that medication, and that's kind of how it works. But there were a couple of things that they didn't tell me at the beginning. This sounds like such a stupid thing, which is why I wanted to make sure I spent just a bit of time talking about medication. It was 2 very practical things. One was a pill cutter. Now, it sounds stupid, but the first time I've been, got a prescription for these drugs, and I needed to cut one of them in half. And like, no doctor or nurse said to me, there's a pill cutter that you can cut these pills in half. And it's literally a small device, plastic with a little blade, and you put the pill in it and you close it, and then it breaks it in half. And it literally was like this game changer like scenario where I discovered, and it sounds like such a basic thing, but that's partly why, again, I'm sharing it from a story to help people. So one is pill cutter. If you know anyone that needs to cut pills in half, get a pill cutter. It will change your life. That's the first thing. Second thing is a medical box where you can line up your medication for a week, or you can get them for a month. There's various ones. I settled on a week. So what was interesting is just this process every day of pushing out the pills, and emotionally at the beginning, it was really confronting. I found it really, really difficult, and quite overwhelmed by doing it. And actually the idea of, once a week, setting them all up, everything that you need, cutting them all so that it's halves that they need, whatever it is, and just having it there was, again, game-changing. And again, no nurse or doctor suggested it or thought, why would they perhaps? But someone experiencing this new for the first time, again, absolutely game changing. There's a bit of anxiety when I'm traveling and how many pills I've got and what I've got with me. But I found, fortunately, again, I always carry like a prescription with me, so a copy of my prescription. And when I've been away, if I've stayed somewhere longer, I've been able to go to the pharmacy and been like this. There are ways to limit, I guess, the anxiety around it. And that's kind of, a few things for kind of planning and making sure I've always got, a good supply. Those two things I just kind of wish someone had shared with me, which is why I'm sharing it today.
Thanks for watching. To find out more about the charities that help support those with heart conditions, their families and loved ones, please have a look at the British Heart Foundation, Cardiomyopathy UK and Save 9 Lives. Feel free to comment on the video and subscribe.